Hello everyone, myself Gautam Shekhawat and the topic for my seminar is multi-trace first break picking and correction using convolutional neural networks. So let's first discuss what is first break picking. Generally, the reflected energy associated with the base of weathering layer constitutes the first arrivals, and these first arrivals are referred as first breaks. Also, why these first break picking are of such importance? Um, Actually, it removes the medium to long wavelength static anomalies associated with the near surface models. These are also used for residual static corrections and thus um, giving more profound velocity analysis. Now let's discuss about the convolutional neural network which would be used frequently forward in this presentation. So the CNN are best used in computer vision and image identification. It basically maps an input vector or image to a probability vector over different classes. Over the past few years, several improvements in CNN models have been made owing to large training data sets, advanced optimization algorithms, and better regularization strategies. So let's discuss the history of the first wave picking. So in seismic exploration, first wave picking is the first step in seismic data processing to provide static corrections. Also, there are various methods and various manual and automatic methods that have been developed in the past few years for first wave picking. Due to importance of first wave picking correction in velocity analysis, many efforts have been made to develop and correct first wave picking techniques. In 1978, Allen proposed the short-term and long-term window average ratio method, which performed well on data with high signal-to-noise ratio. In this method, L1 norm is used to compute the ratio. At any point, short-term window average and long-term window average ratio is computed for the time windows preceding that point. Apart from these, many other methods have been formulated using the seismic physical properties and physics. The first one is fractal dimension, where the seismic arrivals are detected by analyzing the variation in fractal dimensions. Boschetti in 1996 used this method to calculate fractal dimensions using divide method for each trace. Next is high order statistics. In 1997, Young and Icke proposed the use of higher order statistics method for improving the quality of first break picks. In 2018, A. Gurbush and A. Yahya compared the cross correlation, that is the second order statistics, and biospectral correlation, that is the third order statistics based on the time delay estimation, proving the ability of bispectral correlation to suppress Gaussian noises in the real seismic data conditions. Also, over the time, use of wavelet analysis applied to seismic reflection data has been proved to provide great results. So till now we have discussed the methods majorly based on single seismic trace. In seismic data, waveforms between adjacent traces usually are highly correlated. Thus, these methods without any modification are not effective, especially in the cases of low signal to noise ratio. So this paper combines the geophysical and machine learning methods to improve first wave quality. However, replacing the geophysical methods entirely with the ML algorithms may not be a wise approach. So we intend to identify first arrivals using geophysical pickings and identify and correct the poor picks of the lot. So in the last decade, many papers have been published on using ML and DL to improve the quality of first picks. Most of these methods were based on single seismic trace, like in 2018, Hollander combined deep learning with the energy ratio method, that is STA to LTA ratio method, which was also based on a single trace technique. In 2018, Yuan proposed multi-trace picking method based on convolutional neural network. He used the training and test together from the same field, where the model ceases to function properly on the new field dataset with different first arrival patterns. In this paper, the trained model is tested first on validation dataset to tune the hyperparameters and then on the test dataset both taken from the different fields. So let's discuss the methodology used in this paper. So to integrate the geophysical picking with the convolutional neural network, we first consider the picking problems as poor picks identification and correction. The key idea is to identify poor picks from preliminary picking results from geophysical methods and fix them to improve the geophysical picking results. So here this figure shows the preliminary results that include some poor picks. So we applied the mode correction with the preliminary picks and select the resulting seismic records within a time window of 400 milliseconds. So if there are no poor picks are detected, the first arrival event is flat and is located at 0 seconds. If the time difference is noted uh, greater than 8 milliseconds between the manual peak time and preliminary peak time, then the label for the related seismic trace is 0, which specifies the poor peak. Otherwise, the seismic trace is labeled as 1, which specifies the good peak. So in the prediction process for a new seismic data set, we first conduct geophysical picking and then we apply move out correction and acquire the time window short gather. Finally, we use the trained model to identify and fix poor picks. The reciprocal error is majorly used here to evaluate the quality of picks. So in the right hand side, we could see this flow chart which defines the flow of the problem. So for initially the traditional automated seismic first break picking is done, and then the poor picks are identified and removed using that machine learning model, in our case the convolution neural network model. So if we get the good enough picks, then we can proceed for statics correction. Otherwise these picks are again fed back to the model for further processing. So how these preliminary first breaks are picked? So considering the substantial correlations in waveforms among adjacent traces, we propose a multi-trace seismic automatic picking method. So initially we define the linear move-out correction velocity to correct the first arrivals. Then we define an envelope function which is generated from the seismogram based on the Hilbert transform of the seismogram and the seismogram. Then the energy ratio function is calculated using the ST-LT ratio to envelop the function. The ST-LT ratio is defined as following in this figure, where NS and NL represents the number of samples in STA and the LTA time windows. Then we define the threshold value of the energy ratio. So if this energy ratio function exceeds the threshold value, the time of the maximum value of the derivative is defined as the first break. So here we can see the first break arrival is represented by this red line. Now, for identifying the poor peaks with the convolutional neural network, the input is generally move out corrected and time window seismic trace with 5 adjacent seismic traces taken at a time. So before training, we actually normalize the amplitude of each trace to a range between -1 to 1 without altering the shape. For a sampling time of 4 milliseconds, the input image size of 101 cross 5, 5 is representing the 5 adjacent seismic traces that we have used for this image. So let's discuss the architecture of the convolutional neural network presented in this image. So the main body is the residual network. This con 2D represents the convolutional network, BN represents the best normalization, and ReLU represents the rectified linear activation function. These tuples represents the hyperparameters, like this 3 cross 3 represents the kernel function, kernel dimensions, and this 16 represents the number of filters in this layer. So this the network also contains a sigmoid function at the end, which gives the label for each trace in the input. So the preliminary first breaks that are more than 8 milliseconds from the manual picks are defined as poor picks. So for data augmentation, we use three different strategies. Firstly, we add different levels of band limited random Gaussian noise to the datasets to suppress the coherent noise. Then we use different existing picking methods to generate preliminary picks. And after linear move out correction, we randomly select image patches from above and below true picks. So in this way, we finally collect around 100 million seismic traces and generate around 20 million labeled images as the training data set. In this figure, we could see that this image is defined in, it can be seen as the collection of 5 traces. So the traces which are labeled as zeros are poor picks, while traces which are labeled as 1 are good picks. So by training the model, the accuracy of the validation set finally reaches 97.3%. In addition, the accuracy on the training data set reaches 98.2%. But the because of the imbalance between positive and negative categories, no problem, accuracy is not a great measure of performance. So what we use is called an F1 score. So F1 score is defined as this formula, where P represents the precision and R represents the recall. So here in these images, we can see that the blue asterisk represents the poor picks, which are mostly located on the next row, which introduces static error of approximately 25 milliseconds. So in 1992, Square showed that travel time errors of 2% can lead to tomographic errors up to 7%. So consequently, we can define it that it is meaningful to identify and fix poor picks with small errors. So poor peak corrections and tests. So generally we first apply linear move correction to the seismic dataset and then select all the seismic traces with identified poor peaks and move the poor peaks. Then the poor peaks are moved up or down the next negative draw and extract the image patch centered around the location. So these new images extracted are again fed to the network again for further corrections. This procedure can be repeated through several iterations, followed by final poor peaks identification and removal. So in the test data set, around 20 million seismic traces are used, and the accuracy for classifying good peaks and poor peaks is 97.8%. So here we would like to conclude with some of the major observations of ours. So firstly, to allow the training samples applicable to various regions in different datasets, we apply uh, linear move corrections. Also, because the network will output labels of traces in one image simultaneously, including more than 10 traces in the input image, will lead to more output labels and more difficult problems. Meanwhile, heavy coherent noise before the first arrival events may have a negative effect on the performance of a method. If the local features of coherent noises in the first arrival events are similar, it is difficult for a model to identify the poor peaks at the location of coherent noise. In this situation, we need to add some simulated coherent noise to the training dataset or train a last special context to help the neural network classify coherent noise of the first arrival events. So after applying the mm, training model to our test dataset, for label 1, we get the precision around 95.7%, recall around 96.4%, and the F1 score around 96.0%. While for the poor pixel for label 0, we get the F1 score around 98.4%. So we can see that we have got quite good results. Additionally, um, about convolutional neural network architecture, if the CNN architecture cannot fit the training dataset sufficiently to guarantee small bias, the depth or width of the CNN architecture can be increased. In other words, the hidden layers, the number of the hidden layers and nodes in the hidden layers can be increased for the better fitting. Also, in case of overfitting, we can adopt some techniques such as dropout based normalization or early stopping. Apart from this, in the future, these CNN algorithms can also be used to identify most of the poor pics and improve the quality of poor pics in 3D cases. A lot of research papers have been published in this dimension, but a lot of research has to be done for further investigating the and improving the quality of pics in 3D cases also. So with here, I would conclude my presentation. Thank you, everyone.